Broad alert! This episode is intended for mature audience members only. We will be discussing sex, BDSM, fetish, sexual pleasure, and other topics that may be a little too much for some of our listeners. We recommend that if there are minors listening to this episode, listen to it with your parents or your guardians. So, from here on out, consider yourself warned. Hunty. This is Queen Shanshan. Good evening. I'll be your mistress tonight. Welcome to a broadcast podcast. Hey girl, hey. Are you ready to be wowed by today's episode? Well, get your strap-on ready and your ball gags tight. We're going to explore the world of kink and the art of fetish. Edward, are you ready? And did you bring your whip this time?
I brought my whip and my ping pong balls.
Ping pong balls. Yeah. What are you going to do with ping pong balls?
It's a trick.
Oh my God, this show is going to be insane. Let's recap, shall we?
Let's.
So last week's show with Brian and Nick was such a great one. It was our episode, our premiere episode for season 3. They shared their personal story of their passion of starting a family, and they decided to do it through surrogacy. And I've got such great feedback on this episode. People really enjoyed it.
The numbers are jumping up there.
They are.
So that's great.
They
Good
really are.
encouragement.
They have a lovely child named Olivia, and we just had a great time chatting about their experience, what they went through, and that they're starting a business based on their experience.
That's great.
It's wonderful.
It's something totally different than this episode.
It's a far cry.
But
it's a far cry.
Just sorry, Brian and Nick, for the content on this show and mentioning your names within this show, but you heard the disclaimer, so we're good.
Today we have Tyler Gates, who is a professional photographer but loves to involve himself in the art of fetish and all that revolves around it. So we're going to introduce him in a minute. Y'all aren't ready. Y'all are not ready.
I don't think I'm actually ready.
Are you? No?
I'm usually ready.
I asked you to bring your equipment.
Oh, I got my stuff.
You got your stuff?
Yeah.
Also, we're going to talk about what I went to last week and went to the BeautyConLA event. And I was a part of this huge makeup and beauty convention that happens every year. We're going to talk about that later in the episode because obviously this show is about beauty as well. And it was really interesting. It was very, very good this year. I've been for the last 4 or 5 years, but this year was really great. So all this and more after the break.
Oh, I'm in a food coma right now.
I am so stuffed.
Oh, me too.
Ma's Italian Kitchen, you did it again. Edward, what did you have for dinner tonight?
Oh, I had pasta primavera with peas and mushrooms and Alfredo sauce, girl.
Delicious. I had linguine, fresh chopped clams with garlic and pecorino cheese. Ah, it was so good.
Heavenly.
Ma's Italian Kitchen, you did it again. They can be reached at 818-567-2288 or order online at masitaliankitchen.com. Hunty.
Time for dessert.
Broads. Oh, broads.
Girl.
This is going to be such an insane episode.
That is.
Broads.
That's it.
That's it. And cut
that's
to.
That's what you got for us, right?
Come on, Shannon. Let go a little bit.
You know what? You know what? It's been a while. It's been a minute. So we're going to get into it.
Remember that? Okay, here's what you do. You visualize that last good piece of dick you had. You know that dick that just made you go, okay, that's some good dick. That's that kind of dick that you are right home about. You know, that's that kind of dick you really actually want to tell a friend about. You're like, yo, I had some dick last night. That just made me want to tell you about it. Think about that and then do your moans.
And we welcome Tyler Gates.
There we go. That is our guest, guys. And girls. And everything else.
We do not slide in easily in this show. We don't slide in and we ram it to your face right now. Hi, Tyler. How are you?
I'm great. I'm
Good.
great. Thank you.
I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being on the show. Well, it's just to give you a little history of how I know Tyler. I know him through my friends who you guys have already listened to, from Victor and Arsenio and some other mutual friends of ours that I've basically known you for probably like 7-8 years now, right?
Yeah.
Through Victor.
Wow.
And the reason why we're having this topic is Tyler actually approached me. We're at our friend Jay's a party back in April. And our masturbation episode was so huge. Tyler listened to it, and he approached me at the party. We were all dressed up in drag. And what was your costume for the drag party?
I was just, how do I explain it? I was more on the horror side.
Right.
So
what was
like
the theme?
I was like a ghostly
a ghost drag queen?
Yeah.
A dead drag queen?
He's got to make it macabre.
Yeah.
I'm very macabre. Yeah. And so we were talking, drinking at the party, and Tyler's like, I really was impressed with your masturbation episode. Have you thought about having a different topic of kink and fetish? And I was taken back. I was like, no, what? I don't know anything about kink and fetish, and I don't know how I would approach that topic. And just, we talked on the couch, we were having drinks, and then you pretty much convinced me.
It's the drinks that
I think so. It's the drinks, right? Speaking of drinks, how's your wine tonight?
My wine is great. Actually,
yes, it's a Malbec. It's a Malbec.
It's a Malbec. Okay.
Yes, I love Malbec.
Tyler Uncorked right here, guys.
Tyler Uncorked. That's right. So let's get into it, because in our society, we're raised kind of strict in terms of sexual expression, letting our partner do what they want to do to us, or we want to do it to them. But I'm going to get to the very nitty gritty. What does BDSM mean, Tyler?
Bondage, discipline, sadomasochism.
Bondage,
discipline, sadomasochism.
And what does that mean to you personally?
Well, there's the bondage aspect of it. Well, it depends on what you consider your role in, I guess, the
submissive
BDSM,
or dominant.
Whether you're a dominant or a submissive, whether you are a sadist or a masochist. I consider myself a sadist.
Ooh.
I'm not somebody who likes to. So a sadist is the person who inflicts pain or control, and the masochist is a person who receives that.
And you're a photographer, professional photographer.
Yeah.
That is your, the way you make a living.
Mm-hmm.
How long you've been a photographer?
Okay, so I've been a photographer for about 5 years now.
Okay. And do you take photos of this lifestyle?
Not the lifestyle as in people. I take my own artistic perspectives of it.
What made you interested in this lifestyle, the art of fetish lifestyle?
There's nothing that really was a catalyst to it. You just like what you say. Okay, so everybody is a fetishist. Everybody has a kink.
Explain that.
Even so being kinky is also on a spectrum like everything else. Most people, when you say, oh, you're into kink or you're a fetishist or whatever, their first immediate is, let's see how provocative a thought I can think of, and probably that's what they do.
Okay.
And, you might have people who like to be wrapped up in leather, or some people want to be cocooned in rubber with just a little breathing hole in it. And then you have people that, like I said, just like to get spanked on a Friday night. Like it's all depends on where you are. I'm probably middle of the road.
You're middle of the road.
Yes, I'm a participant. So I always say I'm not an expert.
You're not an expert. You don't teach classes. You don't go on the road. You don't have a
professional.
dungeon. Speaking of that, we are going to have a professional BDSM teacher and instructor on the show next month.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. We're going to get really down and dirty with her.
But I am a participant.
She owns 2 dungeons in LA.
Are we taping there?
You should tape in the dungeon. You totally should tape in the dungeon.
No, she's coming here.
I might have to come to that one too.
I don't know. That's a good. Why are you scared, Edward?
I don't know. I didn't feel
obviously, you just totally became nervous right now.
Well, I was caught off
Are you having
guard.
flashbacks or something?
I am.
That's a good question. Maybe I can email her and call her and say, hey, can we do the podcast in one of your dungeons?
You should. You really should.
She owns 2.
It should be a video podcast.
Oh, Lord. I don't know. That might be totally.
You can own these
Facebook
places?
and Instagram will be like, strike.
not to take away from Tyler's show, but you pay to go to these places?
They pay her thousands and thousands of dollars. I cannot wait.
You know, I'm an entrepreneur. Okay. Back to Tyler.
Back to Tyler.
Before it became happily married.
Tyler, is this a lifestyle or a hobby of yours?
Oh.
Because people have lifestyles, obviously, the lady we just spoke about, or is it a hobby?
That's a good question. I think that when you consider something a lifestyle, I don't think hobbyists are people who just, every once in a while kind of, flitter in and out of something.
In this particular genre.
Okay. I mean, just in general. Someone's hobby is something that they're not serious about. They do it. It's what they do, and it's who they are.
Well, this is my hobby. The podcast is my hobby. I take it serious.
And I find hobbies to be things like that. I consider being a fetishist not necessarily a hobby, but more of a degree of how much you're a participant. And I say this because I find that the word hobby makes it sort of diminish what we're talking about here.
Or it feels like you could go down to
Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby and just pick up
a fetish.
Pick up a dildo, pick up a ball gag.
Yeah. Right. So I don't like to use that as a quantification of what degree someone participates in it or not. Mm-hmm. It is a lifestyle in that I participate to another consenting adult, in something, and it's part of my life. Yes, it doesn't dominate my life, and that's the other thing that I wanted to do. Why I kind of wanted to do this podcast is that it doesn't have to be this idea that it dominates your life every minute of every day. 24 hours, this is what you do, and there are some people that do live that way, and that's fine. But I guess I want to back people off from this idea that saying that you like a certain fetish or a certain kink means that you do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can't have a normal life or a normal job. Just be a normal person. There are people that are honestly our school teacher during the day, and the husband is, he has his job. Maybe he works for the county, and they come home and, every once in a while she straps on a dildo and fucks him. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that incorporates, there's still fetishes. That's, he likes to be dominated in that way, and she is perfectly fine with dominating him in that way, but it doesn't mean that dominates their entire life and that they have this certain lifestyle where that's what they do. It's just that
it's compartmentalizing.
Right. It's just that, hey, he likes a certain thing. She's willing to give him that certain thing. Mm-hmm. And there you go.
So, Brads, this is an audio podcast. Obviously, this is not being videotaped. If you are following me on A Broad Productions fan page, you will see what Tyler looks like. So let me explain what Tyler looks like. Tyler is a gorgeous African-American man, fit to be tied, chocolate man. How old are you, Tyler?
Oh, really? We're going to go
We're going to go there. Because black doesn't crack.
I'm in my 40s.
Bullshit.
I am in my 40s.
You are not. I thought you were 50.
No. Damn.
I thought you were 50 years old.
I am not 50 years old.
How old are you really?
Not yet.
Not yet. We're the same age.
Are you 49, 48?
I'm close.
Okay. Well, he won't even tell.
I'm 49.
Edward's 49. Are you 49?
I'm the same age as Edward.
We're the same age. 1970, baby? Yeah.
I thought you were 50 because I could have sworn I thought you said you were 50 or 51, but you look amazing. You're totally in shape. You will kick a 24-year-old's butt. You are a gay man.
I am.
Are you bi? Are you gay? Are you non-binary? What do you identify as? I don't want to say labels, but let's be honest, we are in a labalistic society. Do you swing both ways? What's your status?
So this gets complicated.
Here we go.
I get judged for this.
Okay.
Answer, but I have dated women.
Mm-hmm.
I have predominantly dated men.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be true to myself in my answer. So I have to say that I really look at things like I just don't know.
What do you prefer? What do you like?
See, that's, again, I like the person. the person and the energy and what somebody brings to me. Because I have found myself attracted to some women.
Currently?
Not currently, no.
So when was the last time you had sex with a woman?
Ooh, God, that's been a minute.
Been a minute.
That's been a minute, yeah, since I've had sex with a woman. It's been a minute.
Okay. And the fetish...
But I've also had long relationships in the interim.
When did you come out?
And I don't usually... Here's how I look at it. If I'm in a gay relationship, my friends are gay, the people that I hang out with gay, the areas that I hang out with are gay. And so if I end up... the relationship that I'm in ends, the community that I'm in basically is the place that my first inclination, I think, is to go. Have I thought... Now, I want to make sure that it's understood. Like, it's just that I don't... I've tried to judge my life a lot of times and go, oh, I'm going to date this person. I'm going to date that person. The person that I am currently, like, absolutely madly in love with, I never would have thought that I would be with. I'm just being honest.
In a relationship with this particular person?
Not this particular person, just the idea of
a long-term relationship?
Of...
Or monogamous relationship?
Oh, no, I'm all about monogamy.
Okay, you're all about monogamy?
Oh, I'm all about monogamy. Yeah.
Okay, so you never had, like, 2 or 3 partners or two or three people you were dating at the same time?
Dating is different than...
Fucking?
Than being in a committed relationship with.
What about fucking?
When I was dating, yeah, I've had multiple...
What? Okay, so you didn't have a monogamous relationship. You had different partners at the same time.
Because I was single, yeah.
Yes. So was that also with women and men or just men?
It's just men.
Okay. So when did you come out? Or was there an out?
Wait, I have a question.
Ooh.
Is the this lifestyle, BDSM lifestyle, is it something that you seek in a person?
That's a good question. So,
he didn't answer my question. When did he come out?
I never really came out.
Really? But are you closeted?
This is it. I'm coming out right now.
Congratulations! Happy birthday!
I never really had that like just out experience where I told my family.
Your mom?
Because I wasn't big on like when so I was dating women, I was engaged to be married and blah 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 and all this. Oh yeah.
What?
And then I went to college and I realized, hey, there's this other side of me and maybe I should kind of explore this. And I'm lying right there. Actually, I kind of knew when I was 6 years old, but
It's a 70.
I never but I never I knew it was there, but I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
So when I got to college, it was like, oh wait, hold on. I'm away from home. I can kind of figure out what this is. And so I broke off the engagement. And
so you were engaged during college time? I was engaged
and then I ended up dating somebody, and it was anyway. That's another story, but it turned out to be a really bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
But then I dated somebody else, and there was a girl involved that during that situation too. So where I was kind of dating this girl and dating this guy at the same time. That's when I realized you really shouldn't do that. Well, she knew.
So you were bisexual at that time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So cut to, what was the question you asked, Edward?
If he seeks people that are into the BDSM lifestyle.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. I seek somebody who is comfortable with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what I seek. You don't have to be specifically, but you need to be comfortable with yourself.
So it's not a deal breaker?
No.
Okay.
No, because most people, again, understanding this idea of like living a lifestyle or participating in the acts.
An event.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you could live the lifestyle, go to events, go to parties, go to all the different things that you can do, or you could also experience it with just your partner.
Right. The partners that you've had that were when you were younger or you were experimenting, how do you introduce, I like this type of sex, I like this type of toy, I like this type of topic, I like this kind of play. How do you know how John Smith or Joan Smith is comfortable with certain things before you may offend them? Or they'll be like, oh, that's weird. Or you're like a little nervous in introducing in terms of sucking a toe or playing with a toy, whatever. These are fetishes, correct?
Yes, I'm very Eddie Murphy. Yes.
What does that mean? Oh,
No, I really am. Yeah, I'm
Do you
totally
like sucking toes?
No,
They're
but
playing
if
all
your
the
feet,
roles.
if your feet were are messed up, yeah.
From boomerang.
I do have boomerang. I do
Yeah.
have a foot,
Boomerang.
I do have a foot fetish. I do. You need to have nice.
Do you like to
feet.
suck toes?
I have, yes.
Do you like your toes to be sucked?
It's okay.
Okay, but you
It's
like to
fine.
suck the toes. But you
It's
are.
not just sucking toes. I just like pretty feet. Like if you've got nice
understand.
feet, that's
My
attractive
feet are pretty.
to me. Like if you have pretty
Just
feet,
got my feet
there's
done.
something about that I find. To
I
be
mean,
very
they're rare,
attractive.
right?
Right. For real.
Most feet are
For-
like,
for-
whoa.
right. So if they're pretty and you keep them, maintained and stuff like that,
Right.
yeah, I'll kiss your toes. I'll lick your feet. It's fine.
I'm gonna dive in more deeper.
Uh-oh.
Have you been to sex parties?
Yes.
How is it?
Not okay.
How is the sex parties, and how do you introduce to someone again that you like it rough and you want to be a dominant?
Okay. So
But get into it. We
I
got to
went
run a
to an
time
event.
schedule.
It's not necessarily a sex party, but definitely sex happened at this party or event. So how do you introduce it? There's no real straight. It's energy between two people. It's like you meet somebody and you decide, hey, you and I connect and click, and it just kind of happens. Now, there are negotiated play, meaning that two people will sit there and they will negotiate. This is what's going to happen. This is the scene. This is how it will go down. I'm the dom. You're the sub. Literally, we'll map out everything that will go on. This is your safe word, so on and so forth, and they will break it all
What's
down.
your safe word, Tyler?
I don't tell my safe word.
You don't tell your safe word? Oh, it's
personal.
private? It's personal?
It's personal
Why?
and private to me. It's just personal. and
It's like your
private.
password? It's like your internet password?
You have to be in a scene, Divine.
You have to be right.
It's your
to know.
bank card
I
ID?
I don't tend to be on the safe word side, but
Why not? That's why it's called a safe word.
I tend to be the dominant.
That's
so I'm
right.
The one, I'm the sadist.
You need to know the person that you're dominating, what their safe word is.
Right.
Okay, so let's get into it. There is a actually, let's take a break because I'm sweating right now, and it's not because it's hot in here.
Passport, check. Underwear, check. Sunscreen, check. Travel insurance, no check. I know, I'll head over to ShanInsure because she does health insurance, life insurance, auto insurance, business insurance, homeowners insurance. I didn't know she did all that insuring. Surely she's got to have some travel insurance for me. So go to ShanInsure.com. I cannot wait to go on my trip now. Hunty.
Welcome back. Tyler, when did you realize you were a sadist?
So the funny thing about this, when I realized that I was a sadist, and actually the story that kind of goes along with it, is funny because people, when I tell them when I realized it, they'll be like, I knew it, all of you guys are sadists.
All of you guys.
So I realized that I was a sadist when I became a personal trainer.
Oh, wow. Because you are a sadist.
Oh.
You just want to like
See what I mean?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, I'm like,
Get your butt in shape. Get it together.
There was something I found in the actual dominating of somebody like that and making them sweat and jump. And there is something I found very
Arousing?
arousing. Yeah.
Were you in the military by chance?
No, I
No?
wasn't.
Okay.
No, I'm a pacifist. Even though I'm a dominant, I'm a pacifist.
You're a dominant
You're-
pacifist?
I'm a dominant.
Dichotomy.
I am a dominant. I really am. I'm a dominant
Wow.
pacifist. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe in war.
So, in your experience in the bedroom or in a sexual relationship or in a sexual position or whatever what have you, you found yourself the dominant person, telling your lover or whoever you're having sex with, whatever, to do things to please you.
No, see, that's actually
That's the wrong.
not
That's the wrong perception.
Always how? Yeah, that's kind
What's
of
the right
it's
perception?
perception. It's trying to think of the best way to put it because I want to. Being the dominant in the bed doesn't necessarily mean that you're the one calling all the shots necessarily. And you're sitting here going, oh, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. It's a feeling, it's how you move, it's how things go as you're with that person. You're again, it's two different things. There is mapped out play, where this is a scene, and this is the scene that we're going to do, and we'll talk about what kinds of scenes there are and what I don't necessarily participate.
So it's literally like a play.
But right.
Basically.
Or then there's just I'm having sex with my partner and how it's going to go down. You know what I mean? And as you're having sex with somebody, you learn what they like, what you like. You talk about it, because I believe in talking about sex. I'm one of those people who I find it very odd that this society does not talk about sex, but yet everything is sexualized.
Very much so.
Like every commercial, everything is sexualized, but yet nobody talks about sex.
That was part of the masturbation episode, is that we undermine our feelings about sex. We are the most, we use it as a tool. We use it as a weapon, obviously in our marketing and in our commercials and our songs, especially the entertainment field. But we hide it so much to where people use it against people and hurt people.
Exactly. But then, again, the reason why I like being, I like being a fetishist is that sex is judgment. Everything about sex is judgmental. From the point that you meet this person and you're like, okay, we're going to get together, to the point where you go, okay, I'm going to take my clothes off, or they're going to judge how I look. Is my dick big enough? Is it my dick small enough? Is it what, you know what I mean? Then the judgment of during sex, it's like, okay, especially
I've never had that ever, just so you know. The last one, you know. But anyway.
But the judgment
Edward.
And I'm going to be honest, there's a little extra judgment on being a black man. It's like, are you having sex as this idea of how a black man should have sex? And then after you're done having sex, you're running through the judgment of, okay, well, how was that? I don't know.
Was it good?
My report card, right?
Ooh. When you're a fetishist, it's sort of like, I can't judge you because you like to suck toes while I like to, do X, Y, and Z. So I find there's a lot less of that judgment.
Got it.
And I think because there's none of that judgment, I find that the intimacy is different.
How do you find the circles? How do you find the circles of people that you know that you're comfortable with? One of the questions I wanted to ask you is this a topic you can bring up with your friends? And do you keep this side of your life private?
Oh, no, I tell them. They know.
So your friends who we know, obviously, who you and I hang out with, they know of your lifestyle. They know that you're on the wild side.
Because here's the thing, everybody is everybody.
They just don't speak about it. It's still private.
Everybody does something. Everybody has done something that they may not claim the mantle and say that, okay, I am a kinky person.
Right.
Okay, or I like certain fetishes. I am a kinky person. They would rather go, people tend to just be like, oh, well, I just have sex. Do you like to be spanked? Do you like to be choked? Some people like to be choked out.
Do you like to be
I do not recommend that. That is not safe. I just want to put that disclaimer out there. But people have extremes.
You're a sadist. You don't like to be choked? A lot of sadists like to be choked and like to be, unfortunately, we've actually lost entertainers. Michael Hutchins of NXS. He was found choking himself.
I'm saying
masturbating, died.
It's not a safe practice.
It's not a safe practice, but people like, what is it, asphyxiation?
Mm-hmm.
Very dangerous. Auto-asphyxiation, yeah, very dangerous. Also, David Carradine.
Right.
Found himself, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's different. They're hanging themselves in a closet. And, that's totally different.
That's weird.
But they were found naked.
Well, that's different. I mean, that whole thing is them hanging in a...
I just judged it, but I was like, I guess it's not that weird.
We're
talking about...
We're Judge Judy's.
That is wacky, like hanging yourself in your closet, sniffing poppers and jacking off and dying.
But going back to the thing about judgment, but can you imagine actually being able to have sex with somebody and actually not feel judgment at all?
Would be wonderful.
Like, honest, and that's my point about why I like the fetishist lifestyle. There really is much less judgment.
How do you know, though, Tyler? My question is, here I am going to Shannon. I'm very judgy for Shannon. My weight, I'm a black woman. I feel uncomfortable.
Your weight is a fetish.
My weight, I know my weight is a fetish.
For some people.
Period.
Right.
A lot of people like big girls.
Exactly.
Period. But I don't want to find a man who just wants to find big girls. I want to find a man who wants me as me.
No, but that's the point. He does.
I want a relationship. I just don't want someone to find if he is as a fetish.
He loves you as you, and finds that to be even more of a
where is he? Because I've been looking for him the last 80,000 years.
But here's the thing: you also have to be open to it. Like, like if somebody did come and tell you, because it gets very tricky. It does get tricky, I have to admit, and we can get into it becomes a little tricky when it becomes a little racial. Okay, so I have to be honest. So I've had issues with in my past where I have been fetishized as a black man, and that I don't like.
How do you know? Because they said I want you because you're a black man.
I've had people bluntly tell me, like,
I want you because you're a black man.
They come right up to you.
Oh yeah. There's no like.
But you are a gorgeous black man, Tyler. You're not.
And it doesn't come from it does come from white men, who are the ones who will fetishize me. And they will also be the ones who want to, and we could talk about, getting into things like race play and why I don't get into race play or any of that.
What is race play? Please explain that to our listeners what race play is.
Well, race play would be using whatever, you could be just using the stereotypes of race. You could be using certain play scenario where, let's say, I get approached a lot of time where the white guy that might approach me wants to be the slave and wants me to be the master.
He wants to be the slave, and you are the master.
Right.
Okay.
He believes that. And I've literally had men come to me and tell me that they feel that the black man is the master race and he wants to be my sub and blah, blah, blah. I just want to be your footstool. I've had people sit there and go, I'll just be your footstool. Like, I'll just literally just sit there and you can put your feet on me while I'm watching TV.
I've heard these stories. This is fascinating.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a straight white man approach you? Or can you say? I don't know.
If they're approaching me, they're not straight.
Yeah.
So,
but that would be a
honest.
fetish, right? That would be a fetish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like a straight person would be
That's right. A straight person
I would
pushing
want to get banged by, or I'll just say fucked by a black man.
Right. And this whole concept of the black man, the black sexual prowess, blah, 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 so on and so forth, there's all of that's wrapped up in it. Mm-hmm. And then, and so I don't participate in any of that kind of like race play or anyone who comes at me like that. And going back to the podcast that I had you listen to,
which was insane. A week ago, Tyler texted me a podcast to listen to get some more reference research, what have you, on certain types of kink fetish lifestyles, and it's a podcast. We're going to reference it. It's called Risk, and the topic was slave. And it was a lady who is a submissive, who plays a submissive, a black woman who explained her story as a woman who is really actually well known in the industry or whatever. She plays a submissive. That's her job, and she's involved in certain groups and everything. And she had an experience where it went to a different level, and she played a slave.
Right. Well, she had found the idea of being a submissive or in that sort of slavery sort of way erotic. She had turned around because she said she met someone who was British, right? And he brought it out of her. He brought it out of her, and she loved it. Even though she fought it, she loved it. Because she had been called her all kinds of names and treated her like shit, basically, in the bedroom, whatever. And then it was, again, the word we always want to consider is consensual, right, Tyler? It was a consensual relationship of play, and they bantered back and forth, and they talked, and they did texting, and phone play, whatever. Right. And then she took it to a different level and did different
she had other
groups.
She had other play partners, and she negotiated a scene with this one particular gentleman, and it was going to be a race scene
with other people involved.
Right, there are other people involved. There are people that are watching.
Right.
Okay. And then there are some people that were helping.
Right.
And
that
this is where the key to this is that this is where miscommunication comes in. And where safe words and things are very important, and why understanding how mentally, how people really go into this play.
They get lost in
play.
They get lost in the play. And if you're not strong enough and you're not ready for what you're getting yourself into, and you may think you're strong enough, you may, and it could. But it could trigger something in you that you have to be very careful of. So her scenario...
Speak it.
So her situation was, She was supposed to be a slave, and they were trying to get some information from her, and she didn't know the answer. And they went on, and now their
Not
type
they,
of
he, the master. He
The
played
master.
a slave master,
Right.
and she was the slave, and she recounted the story that he was asking her, who burned down the barn?
Right.
Who burned down the barn? And he was torturing her to get the answer. Unfortunately, before this role play happened, she wasn't communicated correctly on what the answer should have been.
correct.
So, because of his role play as the master, the slave master, he resorted into more physical violence on her.
Well, it was part of the play.
It was part of the play, but still,
right.
he was hitting her. He had a knife to her throat,
All negotiated.
supposedly,
Consent.
but apparently she was scared.
She got scared because this is where the situation comes in when the play becomes too real,
Right.
and she got lost in.
She got lost into it.
and that's what happened because she had a safe word. And his argument, which is a very valid argument,
Right.
is you never gave your safe
You
word.
never gave your safe word. But she
Her
says she got
argument
too
is,
involved.
You should have seen I wasn't okay.
But there were other people in the room.
Right. But again, things can get crazy. Okay? And it's still a scene and people have aftercare and they, hug them and they take care of them. So things can get very heightened until that person actually says, whatever it is their safe word is, like it can get kind of out there.
It went off the rails.
It went off the
This
rails.
particular
You
one-
guys have got to listen to this podcast. It's called Risk. And the podcast was called Slave. The episode was called Slave. Listen to that podcast, and it is riveting what she went
Riveting.
through.
But it's dangerous play.
It is
And
very
it's a
dangerous.
little bit dangerous.
You
because
got
I've always
real
thought-
weapons involved, knives at your throat. Get the F out of here.
But for you, it's you're like
For me?
crazy. But what
That
if
is crazy.
But it's again. It's also negotiated.
Okay, well,
But she
my
got
safe
lost
would have
and
been
she got lost.
safe word would have been get the fuck out of here. How dare you? I wouldn't even play that.
scream,
I wouldn't even
right?
play that. I wouldn't even play that.
But that
I'm
would have
not
been
gonna play
but
someone
here's the thing.
slave. Are
That
you
wouldn't have
fucking
been-
kidding me?
That's not your kink.
That's not my
here's
kink.
I think people think that kinks like everybody has the same gender. Like it's all
Right,
the
no,
same
it's not the
thing.
same.
No, it's not. If that's not your thing, it's not your thing.
It's not my thing.
And
No
even-
one's gonna call me the N word and then say they want to fuck me. I'm sorry, that's not gonna happen. That's not happening.
But
to
that's
me.
what he brought out in her. And so
He
that
did.
was she's like, oh, that turns me on. So
To the beginning, it turned around, and then he was using forcible play and slapping her and putting the this
Wait,
episode
was
was
it-
insane.
was
part of
this-
the play. That is negotiated.
That is negotiated.
All of that is.
was
all
that the
part of it.
same guy that she
No, it was a
met?
different dude.
It was a different.
It was
so
a
it's
different
dude.
She just found a different guy.
It's a different
that
dude.
went to it. Okay.
So you guys got to listen to it. So can you explain what aftercare means? Because in her story, she was like, "Oh, then he calmed me down. He brought me a bottle of water. Bottle of water? Give me a freaking case of vodka after that." What is aftercare, Tyler?
So aftercare is some of these scenes can be very intense.
Yes.
And a lot of people use scenes for different reasons: purely enjoyment, cathartic experience, whatever. But you're putting somebody through. Sometimes it's physical. I'm not a big physical.
Yes, there's a hitting
I'm-
and slapping involved.
I'm more of a restraint type of person. I'm
You
into
like
more like
bondage?
bondage and ropes.
You
and
like to tie
handcuffs.
someone up?
I like to tie.
You like to tie someone up. Do you like to be tied up?
No.
Do you like to tie someone up in rope or leather, or
Rope.
what do you like to tie people up in?
Rope. I'm into
Rope.
the artistic tying of like rope and
Is there bruising involved? Are there marks on their arms or legs?
not if it's done right.
You know how to do it right?
I'm learning. Are
you taking a class?
No, there are classes.
There are classes on how to do bondage?
How to do the rope, the artistic. There's a term for it. I always want to make sure because there's two different terms for it, and I always make sure I use the correct.
Okay, we gotta make sure we're politically correct with the words of the bondage
It's called
meaning.
there's shibari,
What does that mean?
and then there is kimbaku, which is these are Japanese.
These are
terms.
Japanese
Japanese,
words.
right.
What does shibari mean?
So shibari is more of what they consider more of the aesthetic and the purely like aesthetic and artistic
Of tying someone
of
up?
tying people up. And then the kimbaku is a little bit more the artistic, connective, sensual, more like the sexual practice of tying somebody up.
Did you
Japanese are
think,
kinky.
Edward, there was a sexual way of tying people up?
Yeah, have you ever seen the artistic versions of like
Why would I see an artistic version of tying somebody up? No, Tyler, I don't Google that on the daily.
So we're going onto Instagram because I need to show her.
Of course, there's an Instagram page.
Because it's something
on how to tie people up artistically or sexually. Good God.
Yeah.
Of course there is, and the Japanese made it all up.
Let me see this picture. What's the
Japanese are kinky.
website that people can look at? What's the Instagram page that they can look up on? Oh, it's okay. Hold on. All right, so the Instagram page I'm looking at is I can't even pronounce it. Fabio, and he's in roses, and he's in pink and purple rope, and he's kind of it's covering his eyes and his ears. It's pretty. It actually looks kind of pretty.
Scroll up.
This is what people.
So it's an art form.
There's an art form.
It's an art form. Oh, it's an art form. We're tying people up. Do they get off on it?
There is a sexual version.
It's a sexual. Oh, got it.
Some of it's just artistic. Like a lot of the stuff is just artistic.
Well, he's tied up, and look at that. All right, so we're gonna wrap this part up because, good God, we can get on and on and on. Let's take another break before I get too sweaty.
Queen Shanshan, do you see these cracks in my face?
Oh, sweetie, those cracks are not as bad as the cracks that were in my driveway 2 weeks ago.
Were in your driveway?
Yes.
How'd you fix them?
I called RB Paving and Landscape Design at 760-947-4191, or you can reach them online at BeltranPavingAndLandscapeDesign.com.
Do they fix faces too?
No, sweetie, they don't. Hunty! Tyler, we're going to wrap this up, but I want to definitely ask, because we want to be safe. We want to, even when we want to have these funs and experiences and journeys in life. When you are experiencing this play, these experiences, when is enough enough? When does your partner say, "Ooh, I'm done. I'm over it"?
Two things. As a good dominant or a good top, you should also sense what your partner is going through. And secondly, as the dom, they have a safe word. So if anything ever goes too far, you always have a safe word that you can use to say, I'm done, enough, stop. If somebody says, "I no longer consent," then it stops. And that should be but that should be with anybody.
That should be with anyone, regardless if it's a kinky or a fetish relationship. Period.
When enough is enough is enough. It's not.
Do you think people in I don't want to use the word regular, normal, people in relationships should also have, no matter what, a safe word? No.
If you're just having regular sex with somebody, your partner.
When you just say stop.
Yeah, you should. No is my safe word. But honestly, that's really what it is. No is your safe word.
No,
other than in a sort of negotiated play situation,
right?
No is your safe word.
So we and Edward did a sex test. It was called sex test. We did the BDSMtest.org test, and Tyler sent us the link a few weeks ago on what my results might have been and what Edward's results were. Edward, what were your results after you did this test? It took about a good 7-8 minutes to finish this test.
Yeah, it wasn't like 10 questions long. It was pretty long.
There were a lot of questions.
Everybody is a fetishist. Everybody has.
Everybody basically has a fetish. Right. Period.
Okay, so according to my test, the highest percentage. I'll give two stats: the highest and the lowest. So, 83% voyeur here. Okay.
Ooh, you like to
be watched, or you want to watch?
A voyeur, he likes to watch.
Yeah.
You like to watch?
Yeah.
But you like to be watched?
Exhibitionist is 73%.
You like
so that's a factor as well.
Would you watch a neighbor across the hall? Okay, let me ask you a question. If you had if you're like sitting in your house and you could see the neighbor across the way through their window, would you watch them have sex?
Of course.
Me too.
You would?
Oh, totally.
Then you're a voyeur, so you're a fetishist.
Of course.
Well,
then you're a voyeur and you're a fetishist.
I would literally hide behind a curtain so they don't see me watching.
Would you get turned on by it, do you think?
I think so. Depending on what they're doing.
Would you do anything with yourself?
If it's a man, woman, woman, man, woman, I think I would be totally turned on.
Would you do
It's like watching porn.
Would you do anything with yourself? Do you watch porn?
That is a fetish. That's the thing. I'm very kept. Talk about masturbation. Part of that ingrained Christianity thing that I was raised with, masturbation is a sin, and so unfortunately it's really hard to get over that.
So I'm going to tell you something. So your fetish, actually, your kink, is you have like this religious kink.
Oh, good God.
Where you allow
I have a religious kink?
You allow religion. You almost in a weird way get off on the
I don't get
idea
off.
that allowing religion to control your sexuality.
That's quite valid.
That's your kink. That because
I don't
the
allow
lack
religion
of
to get off. What are you talking about?
because the lack of kink also is a kink. Those who did not, okay, like I was telling, we talked about earlier before we got on, it's like you have this plethora of things that you can do sexually. Like really, like there are so many things you can do sexually, yet you absolutely repress yourself and
And that's
you're
a
allowed
kink.
to have vanilla
Repression
sex.
is a kink.
Well, yeah, denial is a kink. Refusal of the orgasm is a kink.
I don't like that, but I want to have an orgasm now. I want to be released. I want to be free. I want to feel that.
But then there's that get off on getting you close to the orgasm and then not letting you actually orgasm until it builds up, edging and like getting it built up and build up and build up. Right.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And then
that's a
finally,
great question.
if you're a good girl, I'll let you go.
Oh,
But only if you're a good girl.
wow.
So can you say that again, Tyler?
My two lowest scores, and they were both
Yeah,
zero.
what's your lowest?
Both 0.
What was it?
Masochist, 0%.
Okay.
Sadist, 0%.
Wait, you're neither a sadist or a masochist?
Neither.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
Wow, neither.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
My voyeur status so high, it just takes everything over. Literally, when I lived in New York City,
I'll watch somebody be a sadist.
Right.
I just won't participate.
New York City is a voyeur paradise because you can just go from building to building to building. Like, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing?
So would you pleasure yourself while watching somebody else? If you were watching a neighbor having sex across the way?
I haven't.
I would watch and just be like, what is he going to do now? What is she going to do now?
But if you're
what are
turned
they
on,
going to do
but
now?
if you're turned on, how can you not?
Would I be turned on if I saw someone
Completely.
having sex? Probably, but I don't know if I would fondle myself. If I would be like, "Ooh, let me get my fingers."
Okay,
let
so,
me get my
we're
toys.
getting back into fetish.
I got rid of my
Do you have
toys, by the way.
Oh, you got rid of your toys. You don't
All of
have
them are in the
toys.
trash.
Why?
Isn't that horrible?
That is
because
terrible.
I
sound
think again,
like-
I have a mental block
I
with
think so.
masturbation, and so I had toys, and I love
think
real
you need-
penis.
do you know what you need?
I love real penis.
You need to find somebody who gives you the permission to masturbate.
I did have it.
And what happened?
I was uncomfortable.
Then
I felt silly.
Then it was the right person.
I felt
then it was the
silly.
wrong person. Then it was the wrong person.
I felt silly.
was
Okay, so real quick, my results. I'm more obviously on the not obviously, but I'm a switcher. I switch on
She's
as a
versatile.
dominant. I switch off as a dominant. I could be submissive. I could be dominant. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle road because I do like to tell people what to do, but I also like to tell people. I also like someone to tell me what to do.
Okay.
I'm the queen, but sometimes I want a king.
Right.
So
good.
my
That-
results were
that
like
kinda
half
describes you.
right? But it also came up to prove that
What's your
I
lowest?
don't like to do super crazy stuff in the bed.
Okay.
I want my man to take care of me, pleasure me, whatever, but I also want to pleasure him and make sure he takes care that I take care of his needs too.
So
it's
what if you had a
50-50.
crazy thing? What if you had a fetish that...
What is my fetish?
Because here's the thing. If you love your husband, right, or you love your partner, like
Mm-hmm.
you really love your partner, right, and they come to you and they say, hey, babe, you love them for everything, and they tell you that they have this thing that they like for you to do. Would you be willing... Now, you love your husband. Would you be willing to do something that you're not necessarily comfortable
I
with,
have.
but they get off?
I wasn't married, but I was with my boyfriends, and I have had things that I was uncomfortable, and I did it,
Such
and it
as?
was either painful, I was uncomfortable,
That sounds familiar. That sounds like something I know where she went with that.
and I hated it. But I went with it, and I'm like, I'm never
What if
doing
it's
this
the other way
again.
around? What if it was like your husband says, I want you to put on some high-heeled spiked boots. I want you to put on some leather gear. I want you to put on
can do that.
bustier. And I want you to spank me with
Oh,
a
absolutely.
whip.
Spank him? Absolutely.
So
What
you
about-
tend to probably like more being the dominant. Than
I
you
do, because I'm the
necessarily
bossy bitch.
Right.
Would you have a problem with him saying, strap that on and fuck me?
Right.
I've done
you
that.
You have. You have. Okay.
Okay.
Now
I just
we're getting somewhere.
too much
We
of my life.
didn't crack the code.
Now we're getting something. It took me a
I
minute
just
to push
revealed
it
way
back.
too much about it. I hope my parents will never listen to this episode ever.
See, so you're not as vanilla as you. Honestly, that's a
I-
big step. That is a big
I
step for
have
a
done
woman.
these
That is a
things.
huge step for a heterosexual woman
To put on a strap-on?
actually strap on one and fuck a heterosexual male, or to struck this
Oh, I
fucking
thought
male.
it was
That
fun.
is a big.
My friends know I've done.
Was he
I've shared it.
heterosexual?
Was he?
Was he heterosexual?
He was. Both of them.
But that's a big.
I've had-
Both of them. Wait. Hold on. Damn,
That's getting hot in here.
right?
What?
No, at the same time, I've had a few partners and lovers who actually bought the strap-on for me to wear, and I am giving way too much tea.
No, it's
No,
good.
About my
pour.
personal life. Oh my
Pour.
god, what am I? Oh god, what
Pour
am I
that
doing?
tea.
I can't believe I'm talking. I can't believe I just revealed this information.
It's good
Yes,
that you
it was
revealed.
very
Wow.
I was very dominated. It was very sexual. They loved it.
You can just leave it there. Now we know.
Now we know. Inquiring minds want to know.
We might have to edit this out and delete it.
No, we're not.
That's
No,
all we can
no.
say. We just leave it right there.
Oh, yeah, leave it right there.
That's enough. That's all we need to know, right, Tyler?
I think that's
And
great.
this is
yes.
your A Broadcast podcast. Good night. I can be very adventurous in the bed. I just,
So then you.
I'm not super vanilla. I'm not that French
So then
vanilla.
I
have some
You're
chocolate
kinky.
chips.
You're French vanilla.
some walnuts
Because
and
the
ice
French are
cream.
kinky.
That's really kinky, though. That's
is kinky to have a
strap on
strap-on?
it. Yeah, that's.
It
not-
is? I thought
That,
it was regular.
that is like
I
across
didn't
the
know
line.
you could
That
do
is
that.
like over there.
That is
I
not
know
little.
a lot of
I'm talking about
references.
spankies on Friday. You're talking about strapping on a dildo and fucking a dude like. That is way. You know that spectrum I talked about? Yeah, that's way on that end of the spectrum.
Oh my
That
god.
really is.
Oh my god.
And not just
There's
one.
a lot
Not
of
just
straight
one.
women who wear strap-ons for their men.
Wow.
You
I mean, I know.
No.
Oh, I totally know
Yes.
what goes on. Totally know what goes on.
Yes,
Totally know what goes on.
yes. A lot of men like their butts to be licked. A lot of men
yeah.
love their scrotes to be licked, their teeth to be licked,
I've tried
and
to
they
tell
like to
women.
have
I tried to
a dildo
educate
up their booty
heterosexual
hole.
women about that. Like straight men like that.
Straight men love it. They lie. They lie. They don't. If they deny being licked in the butthole, they're big old liars.
Right. Well, I had a situation where I had one of those attracted to a straight person, and yeah, I was kind of like really like into him and whatever. And he was kind of funny because he was like he goes like totally into me and whatever, but like as a friend. But at the same time, he's like, we had this conversation. He's like, I would let a female fuck me, but I couldn't let a man fuck me.
What?
Weird.
That is so
And I'm like,
hypocritical.
what is the
I don't
difference? I'm
understand.
better at it. I
You're
actually
getting
know what I'm
somewhere.
doing.
You're getting a protrusion in your butthole, your crack,
But it was a psychological.
because he was getting fucked by a woman.
Maybe it's his heterosexuality.
Yeah, it's
had
probably what it
him,
is. It's
Versus
what
a
it
real
is,
penis.
but-
Yeah.
Right. Because I guess if a woman does it, it's just kinky, I guess.
Yes.
But it's still a
right,
woman.
well,
as opposed
We got to
to
wrap it up. We can talk for hours about this subject.
You should have given this subject. Damn.
Just getting into it and almost 55 minutes in.
Right.
Damn, we just got to
We
that.
just got it right. Tyler, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
We really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. After a couple of glasses of wine, thank you so much for being open.
Oh, thank you. Like,
Cheers.
This was awesome. I hope people just look at it a little bit differently.
Well, that's why
and
we're
they're
here.
not so like, oh my God, you do this. It's like that everybody
We're
really
here to open
does.
minds
We've
Everybody
learned.
needs
and have a
fetish.
conversation,
Yeah.
because a lot of these people trust. I'm gonna get so many DMs, so many PMs on this. I'm not gonna get open comments on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter.
Right.
They're gonna be DMing me saying, "Oh my God, Shannon, we love this episode." Just like
I
the
hope
masturbation, just like other episodes I've had.
I hope so.
People are still in America very closeted when it comes to
Yes.
sex.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I grew up in a very Catholic. My mom was like super Catholic, but yet I talk about sex like since I was as far back as I can remember.
We might have to have a part 2.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Tyler. Tyler, what turns you on in terms of food?
Ice cream,
What flavor?
vanilla.
That was my key to vanilla. That's me, vanilla. My favorite food
know, right?
to me, ice cream is good. I think Italian food. It's just anything Italian is sex because I love Italian men. I love traveling
So do
to
I.
Italy. So anything Parmigiano, lasagna, cheese, meat, sausage.
Oh, you like hearty foods. Hearty foods turn you on.
What'd you say?
Hearty foods turn you on.
Hearty foods turn me on. Edward, what's your favorite?
Like a hearty man.
Of course. What's your favorite food, Edward?
I'm gonna go with a big old slab of steak, big old slab of meat.
Rare.
Oh, very.
Wait, did you say rare or bear?
Rare bear.
Rare and bare.
Yes, that's it.
That's our food segment. Bye. So our wiglet of the week is I had the great opportunity to actually go to the BeautyCon LA convention this year. It happens every year around August, and I met some incredible people. Some great influencers were there. Influencers, we call them social influencers now. And I took some pictures of Rich Lux and Cole Kerrigan and Johnny Cios. If you guys don't know who they are, Instagram them. They're huge. They're men in makeup, and one has a drama channel, and the other two are big, huge makeup beauty gurus online. But what I loved about this the convention is that they were great panels. Like Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mother, was there.
Oh, okay.
Moj, who is the CEO and founder of BeautyCon, she spoke. She's Iranian.
Cool.
And she's an entrepreneur. She started this whole, and she's lesbian. And
Even better.
What'd you say?
Is it even better?
Right. And she wears no makeup. She's like so she's like a regular person. And she started this. She's an entrepreneur. She started the BeautyCon phenomenon. Meg the Stallion. You know who Meg the Stallion is? She's a rap artist. She's gonna be basically the next Nicki Minaj. She's
Cindy
huge.
Crawford there. That's all I want to know.
No, Cindy Crawford was not
Damn.
there. Sorry. Kelly Rowland from Beyonce. She spoke.
Really? Kelly
I saw
Rowland was
that.
there? Wow.
Yeah, she spoke. Bretman Rock, he's another huge influencer. There was a lot of influencers that spoke. What I liked about the whole BeautyCon is that it's not just about makeup. It's not about beauty, the beauty community. It's actually a place where you can actually learn about the business of being an entrepreneur, about the business behind the beauty industry. It's a very diverse type of a crowd. The convention lets you create and shows your talents. I mean, you have all the huge beauty bands from
Maybelline to Max Factor.
There you go, Max Factor. You're showing your Max Factor. Who's Max Factor?
Max Factor even
Is Max
I don't know.
Factor still in business?
I was just using alliteration.
Max Factor.
That's like Jordache jeans.
Right.
Totally Jordache.
That's right. That's how long it's been since I've worn makeup.
No, yeah, Maybelline is still the go. But yeah, you had Huda Beauty there. You had
I watched her
Too Faced.
blow
You had
up.
all these huge makeup brands representing their companies at this place. But the panelists spoke a lot about empowerment and the importance of not giving up on your dreams. These are people who had nothing. They had nothing. And now they're multimillionaires. I was actually able to stand up in the crowd and ask Miss Tina Lawson, hello, Miss Tina Lawson, Beyonce's mother from Houston, the importance of being a strong mother and what the keys of life she instilled in raising Beyonce and Solange, okay? And she looked at me and she told me a story about keeping a strong communication with her girls and about being honest with them and what was the utmost important thing about being a mother. And she said that Beyonce wasn't a strong singer. Remember Beyonce started, she actually got recognized in the Star Search show with Ed McMahon 80 million years ago called
didn't
Star
know that.
Search.
I did not know that.
And the girls, there was a group called Girls Time.
Oh, okay.
Beyonce with Kelly and her best friends. They had
It's
a
on her
true
album.
They were like 10,
It's on
12 years
her-
old.
It's on her album.
Yes,
This is like-
it's on her
Yeah, her,
Lemonade album.
Destiny Child 1.0, right?
Correct.
Okay.
When Beyonce literally was a child and Kelly Rowland was her best friend.
Oh, wow.
They
Okay.
had the
called
Ed
Girls Time
McMahon
in
introduction
Houston.
and everything on her album.
Right.
cool.
Yeah. What's I gotta get that song. Anyways, she told Beyonce that she wasn't a strong singer. And she wasn't at that time. And she had to be honest with her daughter. Says, look, you're a great dancer in the group. But Beyonce at that time wasn't a great singer.
Okay.
And she told Beyonce, you got to take some singing lessons, girl. And Beyonce was like, no, I don't want to take them. I think I am a good singer. And Tina was like, no, baby, you're not. And so it took a mother's honesty and love to curb her daughter and say, baby, we got to take some singing lessons. Beyonce finally went and took singing lessons, and then she became the leader of Girls' Time at that time, and the lead singer of the group.
Wow, she was,
which helped
she
shape
had the
her
seed,
for
but she
Destiny's
needed
Child.
to some fertilizing.
Right,
for
and
that
I
talent.
took that to part because my mom did the same thing for me. She molded me into what I am today in terms of being strong and communicative and being honest. You know, that's a lot of things where parents lack in their children, and they want to be, you know, the soccer mom or the dance mom or the entertainment mom, that they put their children up, and if the children doesn't have that talent, then they're lying to their child. Okay?
Yes.
So it made Beyonce strong. So another thing I learned is stop comparing myself to others, and that's what I do, unfortunately, since I've been doing this podcast. Like, oh, I should be here like this other person is, or I should be there where this other person. No, I need to stop doing that. And a lot of the people who are very successful at this convention told themselves to stop comparing themselves and became bigger than they were.
Nobody else is you.
Nobody else is me, right? So I was very enamored by the show, or enamored by the convention. It was a very great experience. There's been some drama on this BeautyCon. If you guys watch YouTube, we're not getting into the drama because I'm not a drama channel. But there's been some drama with some influencers that were there and everything. But that was very tiny compared to what I experienced. I got over $500 worth of free makeup. I haven't even delved into my bag yet. Okay, BeautyCon, I had VIP
That's a whole
access.
other podcast episode. If
What'd you say?
That's another episode.
That's an unboxing. That's an untethering of goodies. So I got to do my unboxing of my $500 worth of merchandise I got with it. But it was a great experience.
Sounds amazing.
It was really fun. I like it. I've been for 7 years now, 6-7 years to BeautyCon, and it gets better and bigger every year. So hopefully I will be on the talent side next year. So people will come and want to see me.
For sure. You're on the panel.
Hello? I want to be on the panel. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
We're putting that in the universe.
Good.
Queen Shanshan will be on the BeautyConLA panel. Listening? Are you listening, universe?
Fingers crossed. We're putting it out to the.
We're putting that in the universe right now.
Out to the universe.
And that's my wiglet of the week. If you are abroad and want to come on our show to discuss your experiences with food, culture, beauty, and travel, please email us at abroadproductions@gmail.com. You can also find more information about the show at abroadproductions.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at Queen Shanshan or Abroad Podcasts on Instagram. Our Facebook fan page is Abroad Productions, and our Twitter is _broad_prod, PROD. Tyler.
Yes.
You brought out too much of me in this episode. How dare you?
That was the point. It was meant to be about you having your epiphany moment.
Did you have a good time?
Your freak out moment.
Oh, yikes. Did you have a good time?
I did. I had a
Thank
great
you for
time.
being on the show.
I hope it opened some people's
will.
minds a little bit. You know, just even
I'm
just.
telling you, man, I'm going to be
little
getting all kinds of emails and calls from the show because I still get calls and emails from the masturbation episode. Trust. And that was 5 months ago. So this is going to be a fascinating episode, and the results are going to be amazing. This might be the number one. We'll see.
Just look at
It
just,
probably
just
will
know
be.
that
It
you
probably will
all
be.
have kinks.
We all have kinks.
Everybody has a kink.
Everybody has a kink.
Doesn't have to be crazy, but you all have a kink.
Well, thank you for exploring this road and journey with us tonight.
Oh, anytime.
Yes, absolutely. But stay tuned for next week's show. It's going to be another doozy, and it's actually going to be quite on the opposite, again, of what we're talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about relationships, and this guy, I'm not going to introduce you to him tonight, obviously, but we're going to have a different individual next week, and actually will be I think it's going to be aggressive in terms of my opinion and his opinion. You'll see. I can't wait for you guys to listen to it. I'm just going to put it right there. Anyways, Edward,
Yo.
amazing work tonight. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you. I'm just here for the comments, I guess. But, I can't wait to hear this edited and hear you having your moment. So.
Absolutely. Shameless plug time. Amongst all that we talked about tonight, you are a professional photographer, Tyler.
Yes.
How do people contact you, see your work, and hire you to photograph them?
So you can find me on Instagram. The website is under construction, but you can find me on Instagram at Tyler Anderson Gates. I do go by
Tyler
tag.
Anderson Gates on Instagram?
Mhm.
Okay.
I go by tag photography. And you can also find me on Facebook page at Tyler Anderson Gates Photography.
What about Twitter? Are you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter, tag photographer.
Tag photographer. At tag photographer?
Yep, tag photographer.
Tag photographer on Twitter.
Yep.
Excellent. So you guys check out Tyler's work, see how amazingly gorgeous this man is, so you know what I'm talking about, and reach out to him for business opportunities. Thanks, Tyler.
Cool.
Broads, we are a production company, and our goal is to help like-minded folks that we are here to help them shine. So if you want your business to be on our podcast, if you want ads to be on our show, remember we're in 30 countries now. We have over 5,100 engaged listeners. So email us at broadproductions@gmail.com. Let us know you want to be a part of the Broad family, because we're here. Let's talk about it. I'll send you a media kit, and let's talk about getting you on the show. In the meantime, I'm Queen Shanshan, and thank you for listening to Abroad.